$799, $544. What the hell? Why is there no torque? Hey, what's up? Ken from Palm Beach Dyno here. The big news today, the horsepower and torque numbers are out for the 2020 GT500. And I'm sure you're gonna see a bunch of videos of people discussing what is just like in the release of the power and the torque and what they think about it and all that. I wanna bring a little bit more to the table with this video, hopefully, and talk about what's left on the table, what hidden power is left. And I'm sure all of you are gonna go immediately to boost, tune. Obviously with the tune, you're gonna change ignition timing, possibly cam timing, things like that. You have to tune for more boost, better fuel, race fuel, E85, fuel system. We're not talking about any of that. You know, I may throw in a couple things here and there, but that's not the hidden Easter egg in this setup. So I've wanted to do a video for a long time on how to read a dynograph. I haven't really gotten around to it, but we're gonna have to go over a little bit of that today and discuss what hidden power is left in the 2020 GT500 with one simple change. But first, let's look at some dynographs. Let's look at this one first. So, one of the biggest things I hear when we're talking about any of these Coyote-based engines, and you know, yeah, it's the Predator, the GT500, and you've got the GT350, that's not a Coyote. They're all based on the basic same geometry. And you know, they really don't work that differently. The GT500 has a flat plane crank, a Mustang GT, and the GT500 has a cross plane crank. There's different compression ratios, things like that, but in general, they're a similar architecture. So let's take a look at that. One thing I always hear when we post a GT350 graph is, why so little torque? So we're gonna work our way backwards. Here's an engine, you know, a typical V8 that might rev to 6,500 RPM, 637 horsepower, 544 foot-pounds of torque, revs to 6,500, nice flat torque curve, right? Most people would be happy with that if, you know, a 637, 544 spread, that's pretty good, that's reasonable. All the guys that say, oh, the GT500 doesn't make any torque, they're gonna love this spread. Well, now, let's put up another dynograph. We're gonna take this same exact car here and rev it all of a sudden to 7,500 RPM, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I actually have seen the tune file for this GT500, maybe, maybe not. And I think it's 7,500, but let's just say it's 7,500, 73 to 7,500 RPM rev limiter. This might be a 2020 GT500, possibly. 730 at the wheels, 544 torque. That's probably a little high on the horsepower, but this is obviously tuned. Ford's gonna leave some room on the table. But now all of a sudden, wow, 544 torque and 730 horsepower. This is the beginnings of people saying, why so little torque? Did it really make little torque, or is it making exceptional horsepower? Really, it's about perspective, obviously. But this is the same exact setup, just pulled to an extra 1,000 RPM, right? And now let's just suppose this is the GT500. Well, what happens if you take a stock 2020 GT500 that, you know, honestly, it's not gonna make 730 to the wheels, I wouldn't think, but let's say it makes high 600s, similar torque, maybe a little bit lower torque, and you do nothing else, nothing. No timing, no boost, no cam timing, no fuel, no octane at all, and just raise the rev limiter. Boom, look at that, okay? So this gives you an idea. So the blue would be, let's say, roughly what a GT500 will dyno, a little bit better, and then all we did is raise the rev limiter to about 83, 84, and now all of a sudden we're at 799. Obviously the same torque because we're just raising RPM. So if you analyze these three different dynographs, 637, 544, wow, that's a good square combo. 730, 544, wow, why so much horsepower and the torque's kind of low. 799, 544, what the hell? Why is there no torque? Because we're just spinning higher and higher RPM. The torque's not going to change, guys. So that is the advantage of what's left on the table with the GT500, in my opinion. And what are these graphs? Is this the 2020 GT500? Did I get one before anybody had one? No, of course not. This is I believe a 2017 GT350 with a Whipple. This is on 9-10 pounds of boost on their base kit. Obviously, there's some advantages that the GT350 power-wise is going to have over the GT500 when comparing these, and where I was saying this could be the GT500. The GT350 is much higher compression, okay? The 2020 GT500 is 9.5 to 1. The GT350 is much, much higher than that. So it's going to make more boost on, more power and torque on less boost. So this is 9 or 10 pounds. The 2020 GT500 runs 12 pounds of boost, and it's on 9.5 to 1. You're looking at, well, with the stock numbers being 760, you're probably looking at mid 6 to high 6s at the wheels, where this is making, oh, look at that, we got an error here. This is making 800, or even down here at 7,500, 730, 544. But that's on only 9 or 10 pounds of boost, but the GT350 is at a much higher compression ratio. Now, there's going to be some advantages, a lot of advantages that the GT500 changes bring to the table engine-wise over this car that we ran on the dyno. Obviously, the GT500 has a cross-plane crank instead of a flat plane crank. Most people are going to agree that's better suited for the GT500 supercharged application. What else? The block is revised, the heads are revised. Both revisions are for support and to keep things flat, and bigger head studs, deeper head studs. Now that does carry over to newer GT350s from what I understand, but obviously not the ones that are already currently out there. And of course the rotating assembly. Not just a cross-plane crank, but I'm sure it's going to be a very strong crank. The rods, the pistons, everything's been designed to really, hold some power. Now, we talked about the RPM deal. What else is left? There's tons left. That's something that you don't really get an advantage of on most cars, but, as far as I know. Can you buy a ZR1, raise the rev limiter 1,000 RPM and pick up 70 horsepower? I doubt it. Can you do it with a GT500? We'll find out. I think so. That's a good guess. But beyond that, we've got more boost. We're only at 12 pounds of boost at 9.5 to 1. Most likely we can go much higher. We're at 10 pounds almost here on pump gas on a much higher compression engine. So 15, 17, 18 maybe at 9.5 to 1? Probably. So what's that going to add? 5-6 pounds of boost. I'd say 100. Who knows what's going to be, how sensitive it's going to be to timing and everything at that point. But is 900 in the cards for a pump gas? Maybe. That's going to be kind of my target number. But beyond that, beyond boost, we have fuel, right? Race gas or E85. Race gas for the most part, it all depends on exactly what the stock fuel system is going to handle. Power-wise, but with race gas is a lot less demand on the fuel system than say E85. E85 is going to be a whole different ball game. We're going to need a return style fuel system and a big investment there. But possibly with race gas, can we hit 1,000 on the stock fuel system or with some different fuel injectors? Maybe. I really hope so. So what are we talking when it's all said and done? Obviously, my example was to take a stock GT500, raise the rev limiter and gain a bunch of power, but nobody's going to do that. You're at very least going to fully tune the vehicle, and it'd be crazy, honestly, not to raise the boost some, I would think. Now, pulleys aren't going to be available instantly. I'm hoping to have pulleys available through us. We're going to have a 2020 GT500 that we're going to put through all the paces. Now, there's always, whenever a new platform comes out, there's always like the race to the 9s, the race to the 8s, the race to the 7s, and while I would love to do that myself for fun, it doesn't really help you guys because you guys aren't going to just take a car and go put 40 grand into it with everything all at once and just, no budget, go for it. Some guys will do that. Now, I'm going to do it how the average customer is going to do it and pull you through all the steps. Probably a tune only to begin with, and a pulley, and then, if a cold air kit is a benefit, all those sorts of things, and eventually work my way up to aftermarket blowers. Who knows? Maybe you'll see turbos at one point. But it's not going to be a super fast process. Now, what I will do is if anybody out there watching this video or any of our customers wants to be the world's fastest GT500 and wants to commit not only budget, time away from their car with the car in our hands, things like that, if you want to be that guy, give us a call. Now, we're not going to just make an agreement with anybody. We got to make sure you're serious. But if you are committed to that project, we will do all the tuning for free, all the support for free. We'll give you special pricing on parts. Whenever we pick up a person to do development for these sorts of things, that's the benefit you get. Jimmy Cacaletris was the beneficiary of that. We were the first in the 7s with his 680 car, and we took good care of him. He never got charged $1 on tuning, got all the parts at my cost, things like that. So if you want to be the 2020 GT500 guy with that deal, give us a call, but do it quick because I'm guessing that there's going to be a few people hit us up on that. Anyway, I don't know how quickly any more information on this setup's going to be coming out. We will be ordering our GT500. These second order banks are open, so stay tuned for more information there. And once we have a VIN and we can count down the days, we'll definitely be doing regular videos on the GT500 towards the middle end of this year. So we'll see you on the next video. Make sure you subscribe and like this video, hit the bell, and we do, if this is your first video with Palm Beach Dyno, we do a lot of these dyno type analysis deals and all that. So hopefully you guys like it, and we'll see you on the next one.